Hi, everyone. Today I want to share something personal with you. Um, I recently found out I was diagnosed with ADHD, and I'm 51 years old. I have suspected pretty much my whole life that this is something that I might have, but I had not ever had a formal diagnosis. Just kind of was going off of things that I read and things that I related to. But getting this diagnosis actually has been really eye opening for me in the ways that I do things, in the ways that I function. And so I really wanted to share this with you all because I do think that there are probably more people out there struggling with ADHD than we may even know about. You might be like me, you might be going through half a century with it and not knowing. When I was a kid, it was not something that was talked about. It was not something that we were, talking about in school or being diagnosed with. It was just that I always felt like things were hard in a way that it didn't seem like for a lot of my friends. And it never really made sense to me. But even as an adult, some of my struggles just didn't make a lot of sense to me. I am a very driven person. I'm really goal oriented. I want to do a lot of things. I'm also interested in a lot of things, and I tend to be kind of all over the place all the time. And in so doing, I kind of struggle with staying focused on the correct things at the correct time. And so if you relate to this, you can maybe just drop a comment below. So I just kind of know who's on my team here, who knows or understands what I'm explaining. Or maybe there's someone in your household or someone you love or a friend who also experiences this. For me, some really big things, and I apologize to all of my friends and family for all of the years of my really poor time management and time blindness, not keeping track of time well. I have never meant to disrespect anyone's time. I actually work really hard at being on time, but often don't make it. It's kind of even a joke with a lot of my friends, and I thank you all so much for your graciousness. It really truly is a dysfunction within my brain that is creating that problem. I just become completely unaware of time. And time passes, and then I realize that I was supposed to be somewhere or to be doing something else. When you have ADHD, you have an executive dysfunction in your brain. And the executive function is what helps you to plan and organize and follow processes and steps, and also managing your time and goals. And so even though I accomplish a lot, my path to get there is not always a clear one. And when I say that, here's an example. This morning I was actually doing something and it kind of hit me because I had been listening to a podcast about this subject. And I started out by doing this. I had some book orders, and I was working on printing the labels and packaging them. When the labels were printing, I happened to notice that my plants, I had not watered them this week. So I went to start watering my plants while my printer was running. As I was watering the plants, one of the plants I watered a little too much. It overflowed a little bit. So I got a paper towel to clean it up. As I did, I saw it was, this mud on there, which triggered a thought that my trail shoes, because I go trail running, that my trail shoes had a lot of mud on them from my run in the midweek when it was raining. And I wanted to get them washed off and set out in the sun so that this weekend they would be ready to go and dry. And so I'm like, okay, I need to wash my trail shoes. So I went to go wash my trail shoes. I come back and I see a gift that a friend had given me, which triggered a thought that friend, I remembered that they had been going through something hard and I wanted to text them and check in on them. So I sent the text, and then I went back and packaged my books up and got them ready to ship out. And so, in the span of 25 minutes, I packaged books to ship. I watered my plants. I reached out to a friend and I cleaned my running shoes. But the way I did it is certainly not the way that most people would do it. And it wasn't efficient. And in my mind, I'm like, okay, this is an adaptation I have created. I am able to get the task done but the way that I do it just might not make a lot of sense to someone who does not have executive dysfunction in their brain. And so what I'm working on now, and listening to podcasts and reading books about the subject, is trying to figure out ways that I can manage this better and to help myself so that when I do have a goal that I can get there with a little less pain. And again, like I do reach goals, it just tends to be in a way that may not be such a direct and easy path. Another thing that I find myself doing, so maybe you relate to this as well, I will have a to-do list, and on that list, I'll have something that is really important to my overall goal. And in fact, this is something that I have going on right now, and I'm going to make it my number one priority after I make this video. I will have a task that will not even take me that long, that if I focus on it and finish it, it will actually do something to move me forward, to make money, to, kind of go to the next step of something. But yet I'll avoid it because there are other things on my list that interest me more, that will be more fun, like marketing or, kind of planning out the next step or working on speaking engagements. It's when I get down into the weeds of things that, I've already accomplished something. And so maybe kind of taking care of this other piece involved that doesn't interest me quite as much becomes a struggle and a difficult thing for me. And so I, recognizing that as I'm learning more about myself and the way my brain is working, I know that I need to dial into that. So if you find that you struggle in things in this area, and maybe you have an ADHD diagnosis, maybe you don't, maybe you're like me and you've kind of gone your whole life and have kind of struggled to try and figure out, why does my brain work this way? It just might help you to start kind of looking at what's executive function look like, and is mine working well? There are quizzes and things that I've been discovering, and other resources. So if knowing more about this subject interests you, please leave me a comment and share, hey, I would love to hear more about this. Either I or someone I care about also struggles with these things. And again, just want to say thank you to everyone who has kind of been bearing with me throughout my life and been gracious as I have struggled with this time blindness and executive function issues where I don't necessarily follow the most linear path. There's nothing wrong with being the way you are. I think accepting and loving that person you are, even when it's not what you see in everyone else, is so valuable. And so I just wanted to explain and share this kind of personal thing about me and something that I'm working on. And I do think it relates to mindset and also emotions. We have emotions with ADHD. We have actually, emotional regulation is something that's hard sometimes for people who have ADHD. If we don't have certain consistencies and things, it's hard for us to kind of anticipate what's coming next, and then gets us a little thrown off track when we have kind of our plan already set, and then we have to adjust kind of in the 11th hour or something. So having the ability to kind of stay on track emotionally as well. And again, meeting the goals, that's all part of mindset as well. I have to shift my mindset to say, this task that is going to move me forward is really important. And so I need to get focused on that. So I plan to, occasionally be sharing some other tips and things as I learn more about myself and about how ADHD has affected me in my life. And I would just really love to be able to share that with anyone who's interested. So thanks so much for bearing with me and listening to this video. And I hope you're all having a really great day.